Don't run out of money in retirement before you run out of life. Have an income plan that you can count on that'll be there for the rest of your life.
Running out of money in retirement, it's the fear that keeps a lot of people working longer than they want.
And pops them awake in the middle of the night. You don't need that either. And in many cases, it's not because they didn't save enough. It's not because you didn't save enough. It may be how you're taking your money out because you lack an actual plan, something you can count on that's down in writing that you can look to and rely on.
Welcome back, everybody, to the CD Financial Podcast. CD Financial, where health meets wealth. I'm Marcus C., your host. That man across from me is Chuck D. Chuck, my man, you're looking good today, brother. What's going on?
You're looking good, too. This mustache thing of yours and the T in the middle, it's just taking over, man. I don't know if there's enough room in that house for you and your facial hair.
There may not be. You know, it's funny how things evolve, right? Because I never in my life thought I'd have this much facial hair, and yet here I am in my 50s, trying to look like, what is this guy's name? Sam Elliott, right? That's Sam Elliott with the big mustache?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, that is Sam Elliott. Yeah, you're kicking old school Western. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got plenty of guys down there in Austin that have those big beards, right?
Yeah.
With the bald heads too, the hipsters, the big beards and bald heads, and the smoked meats, and the blues guitar, and all the other hip music scene going on down there.
That's Austin in a nutshell. So I'm wearing some plaid today, a tip of the hat to my Austin hipster brethren. Got the facial hair going, another tip of the hat. I should have brought some smoked beef with me right here. And I should have just been munching on some brisket as we do this podcast. One of these days, I'm going to make that happen.
I am hungry, and I packed lunch today. I'm going to be ready to eat it after this one. Okay.
All right, let's get into it, my man. What's going on with this over withdrawing, running out of money?
I didn't say that. You're stepping on my lines. Large withdrawals can damage your portfolio's ability to recover, and it could slam you into a higher tax bracket.
He's no good.
So if it wasn't for this one client, let's call her Susie. If it wasn't for her having the widow's benefit, where she could delay her own Social Security until like age 69, 70, where she could take it way up. And by the way, Social Security is a great form of retirement income because the Fed, as we record, only taxes up to 85% of that.
Right.
In some cases, if we get a plan together, we can lower it. Remind me if I don't mention it later in this episode. But what Susie did. And again, names have been changed to protect the stunad, to protect the innocent. Okay, so she, Marcus doesn't know this word. Most of you don't, but
probably best. Maybe we shouldn't define everything we say.
No, we shouldn't. No, because it comes from the Neapolitan word for stonato, out of tune, right? But it's an Italian American slang word that means not so clever, let's say.
Right. Yeah, so if you've seen enough mob movies, you're probably familiar with the term.
I heard it last night and I started laughing. I couldn't believe I heard them say that. Anyway, Susie, let's go to Susie.
Yeah.
She wanted to buy a condo close to some family, even though she has a house here. And so out of state. And she was insistent that she did not want a mortgage. And I said, but interest rates being at 3.5%, even on a secondary home, I go, well below 4%. I go, it probably makes sense not to take a large amount out of your retirement income plan.
Right.
Please talk to your accountant. I said, please talk to your accountant, which you don't hear me say that often, but I said it. And the next visit, she said, I'm convinced I don't want a mortgage on this condo. And I said, interest rates being so low, please talk to your accountant. Because if you take out this money to buy, at the time, I think it was like around $165,000 or something. So, and by the way, to be fair, condo has certainly increased in value in this area, in this city that is really grown over the last decade. And this is a story that goes back probably least 8 years, if not more. Third time I told her, please talk to your accountant. She did not. And she took the money out. And guess what happened a year later when she was filing her taxes?
I'm guessing she's running out of money and she should run into some money issues.
Not so much running out of money, no. Now she wants me to talk to her accountant.
Yeah.
And then the accountant says, well, I mean, she's launched herself into this big old tax bracket, and we got to take out, she took out this much, and this year we got to take out this much to pay the taxes on this much. Because not only do we have to pay the taxes from last year, but we have to pay the taxes on the amount she's pulling out as well. And the next year, I had to talk to the accountant again to pull out this much to pay on the taxes from last year and also the taxes from pulling out this much. And the third year, I had to do it again. And was it bad? So you got to be really careful about large withdrawals from your taxable accounts, because they can really send you into a higher tax bracket. And there's other things too that we have to be careful of. Let's talk about drawing from volatile funds. I mean, if you got a 401k, you could be thinking of your S&P 500 because it's in the stock market. Your mid cap, TSP, your C fund is the S&P 500. The S fund, smaller stocks, are the I fund international. When these funds go down, you could magnify the losses by pulling from it. Let's say you got $1 million and it's all in stock funds, okay? 401ks, TSPs, IRAs.
Right.
Okay, let's say you go down by 20%. You don't want to use anything safe. You just believe in the market. You go down by 20%. You just went from $1 million down by 20%. You went to 800. Now let's say you need 100,000. Let's say you actually need 80, but you pull out 100 to get 80, and you withhold, let's say, 15% Fed and 5% state.
Mm-hmm.
So you went from $1 million down 20% to 800, and you just pulled out 100, so you went to 700.
Right.
Do you know in a market correction, if you're pulling off heavy amounts like that, how much do you need to gain back just to get even? Oh my! You think, well, 20% more? No, you pulled off another 100 for some expense that you had or some desire you had. Okay, so 700 times 1.4 gets you to 980. Oh boy, 700 times 1.43 gets you to $1 million. But you haven't even factored in inflation. 1.45 times. Let's do 1.45 times 700. Ooh, now you're closer to where you need to be. Wow, man, that's no good.
No.
Man, no bueno. You lost 20%. You took out a large sum. Even if you lost 20% and you just took out a modest percentage, I don't know. You still got to fight to get back to even. So you got to be really careful about drawing from marketable or stock positions, index funds when the market has gone down.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
I was going to say, we've discussed this before. Not being emotional, not reacting based on emotion, and a lot of times that's what's happening when the downturns happen, right? It's an emotional decision.
And on the other side, if you're overweighting into safe funds, that's another danger, right? Maybe you're all into the G fund, or you've run to, I don't know, you could run to bond funds, which, by the way, in 2022 didn't work out so hot. Or what I've seen recently where you met a salesman, not somebody who's not creating an income plan, and you put like, I don't know, 85, 90% of your retirement savings into one solution. This one gentleman I'm helping right now, him and his wife, I don't know what happened, but it all went into an income annuity. And I'm not talking bad about annuities, folks. Everything has a place.
Right.
Believe me, if it's right. Marcus, have you ever been to a bad restaurant?
Yes, more than I care to remember.
Did it stop you from going out to eat?
Absolutely not. I've got a healthy appetite. I go out to eat.
What did it stop you from doing, though?
Going back to that restaurant.
Okay. So are there bad financial instruments like poorly designed mutual funds or variable products or annuities?
Yep.
Yes. Are we going to use them here? Not if I have anything to say about it. As the resident authority, I will be curating, and we will be curating investments that we believe are of the highest quality, so that we bring you a meal that's like farm to table. And when you eat this meal at the restaurant, you're going to be like, wow, try this. This is fantastic. Now, it may take a couple years to realize that, but then you'll be like, wow, you need to try what CD Financial's cooking. So
it's a good restaurant.
Yeah, whatever we can do. So with safe investments, you can't get too safe. Listen, there's no silver bullet that's going to save you. I've talked about this before, Marcus. Life is about moderation, right?
Yep.
My grandfather drank 1 shot of whiskey slowly every day. He didn't drink 4 or 5 shots, 1. We ate kale out of that home we moved into in Santa Ana until we could not eat anymore. Because these garden boxes just sprouted up kale that we never planted, a couple prior to us. And and I talked about Darren, who got on the carrot juice kick and his skin turned orange.
Orange.
Yeah, and if you look, Marcus, you eat beef.
Yep, I do.
Bless your heart. Just don't eat your ribeyes every night because it's probably going to plug your arteries. So life's about moderation, and I'm not going to get into you and your beef. No, I'm not. Life is about moderation, Marcus, right?
The Brisket podcast is on its way, folks. Just hold tight. It's coming.
Because the safe investments, too, may not keep pace with inflation the way they need to. The G fund at the TSP, it's not. It hasn't. The proof's in the pudding. It's not kept. It's supposed to outpace inflation. And that's why these target funds, they don't put all your money in. If you need money right now, you say target income, life cycle income. And there's still like 35% that's not in safe instruments. It's because of inflation. So that's a problem. Okay, inflation's a problem. Large withdrawals from your accounts that you need for income. Taking money out during a market downturn. And here's a fourth one. RMDs. RMDs can force you into the government's withdrawal plan, which might raise your taxes even when you don't want them. You don't even want the money.
So RMDs, what are we talking about when we say RMDs? I'd like for you to define that if you don't mind.
Oh, I'm glad you asked that too, because I've been told repeatedly, don't talk in financial speaks. So talking to y'all, required minimum, so you're required to do it, RM minimum, you have to take out this specific amount, distributions, the D. So you distribute to who? Yourself.
Right.
Yourself, Uncle Sam, and maybe the state government, if you're not in a tax-free state like half a dozen of the states. So you have to take it out. That's a distribution. It's required. And there's a minimum. They're going to tell you how much it is. Okay, I think that could affect your taxes, but that's why they're doing it. They want their tax money.
Right.
With the federal and state governments, they want their tax money.
Exactly.
Who do you think, Marcus, could do a better planning for you? You or Uncle Sam?
As much as I love my Uncle Sam, I will be honest, and I think that when it comes to taxes, he's looking for his own interests a wee bit more than mine.
A wee bit more than mine, Sonny. Yes. So that's right. Yeah, the government's looking to get paid. That's it.
Yeah.
So why don't you get paid instead? Come up with a plan.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so a lot to chew on. So let's break it down a little bit more there. Let's get into some details. So, what's a reasonable withdrawal rate then that won't hammer someone's future income potential?
That's a loaded gun. And for a fiduciary to answer, because I don't know the circumstances behind all of you that are listening. I mean, you could be inheriting, in 6 months, $2 million. Right. Somebody was talking on Zoom with me. What was it last week? It was last week. And they've got like a lot of income now. I think they're churning out like 12,000 just from the estate, right?
Nice.
Yeah. Let me just leave it at that. And so they've inherited that. That's monthly, right? Plus their spouse is getting a lot of money as well from a pension, and then Social Security still has to kick in. Granted, it's a little pricey to live in SoCal, especially near the ocean, but they're going to be fine. So they might turn. I'm trying to even protect the gender, but they might turn to their retirement savings accounts and say 10% is fine here, right?
Okay.
I want to get this thing that I always wanted, or I want to get, I want to remodel the backyard and put a swimming pool in there, right? And hey, those things are a lot of money now out here in Cali, not as inexpensive as Texas. Too many regulations, too many people to pay off, cities and such, and permits and nonsense. But what's a reasonable rate of withdrawal? There's been a financial planning rule that 4% has always been a reasonable rate of withdrawal, but everybody's circumstances are different. Or you might have a really good up year. You say, you know what, Charles? Can't we withdraw more than 4% this year? Yeah, you might be able to. So circumstances change. Retirement is dynamic,
Yeah.
but that's typically you're looking around that spot, right? Around that mark, but we don't know. Everybody's circumstances change. Yeah. And so we certainly don't want you to run out of money before you run out of life.
Right. And that's the big thing. That's what we're talking about today. We definitely don't want to run out of that. Now, I want to circle back to something that you mentioned before, because it almost, when you say it, it sounds counterintuitive, right? And that is being too safe, because it seems like, when you talk about a fixed amount of money, or relatively fixed, I should say, you want to be really safe. So why is being too safe with investments sometimes just as dangerous as being too aggressive?
Hey, why is that the case? Is it here, Marcus? It's not here. Yes, it is. I'm going to tell you.
Are we going with visual props here? Or is it? Yeah. Very nice. Folks, this is a surprise for me, too. I did not anticipate the use of visual props.
I didn't until he asked me. But look, the G fund could be likened, or some other, sometimes, money market or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's pacing inflation now, but slow but sure.
Yeah.
It could be shrinking your money. And inflation could get you. And I've said this before. Inflation's like smoking. It might not kill you now in the first couple of years, but in 8 to 10, it might do you in. So that's how inflation is. The purchasing power of your money is pretty strong right now, but what's going to happen to it in the future if you're too safe? Life is about balance and moderation. We're not going to let Marcus eat ribeyes every night. We're not going to do it.
We'll discuss that later.
but iron's good for your blood, right? Yeah. So there's that too. So yeah, that's why being too conservative can also be dangerous.
Yeah.
Let's continue, because I think I got some other things to mention.
Okay, so then the next question is, how does a tax plan take control of the RMDs, which we just discussed a moment ago?
Oh, you mean the required minimum amounts you have to take out?
Yep.
That the government starts to tell you you have to spend? Well, let me tell you, you'll control the amounts you want to take out and when. In fact, just yesterday, very dear client, family, husband, and wife, and let's just say there's $1 million there, let's say, and we have 4 super duper tax years ahead of us where taxes have been suppressed. Mm-hmm. Tax brackets have been kept down, let's say. And because of that, in the next 4 years, we intend to carve up that specific amount. 250, 250, 250, 250. Yeah, it hurts when you do it. You got to pay the federal and state. So it's like ripping off a Band-Aid really super slow, or just rip
it off.
Pay now or pay later. Tax deferred in an IRA, 401k, SEP IRA, TSP, whatever you're using, 457, 43B, it's deferring taxes till later. Right? And later, all your money grows for you and for your partner. Uncle Sam, how about you get rid of your partner and you decide how much you want to spend and when? How's that sound? That's how you get rid of RMDs, because if one of the mates is older, that's the one we start with first. We start the tax plan with them because they're going to smack up to their RMD age a lot sooner. So get after it now, folks. And in that case, there can be a lot of little landmines, IEDs that can explode on you when you're doing this tax plan. So you need help with that. I mean, that's something you're going to need help with. Yeah.
All right.
What else you got? How about? Oh, go ahead.
No. I was actually I kind of wanted some more from you as far as other solutions you might be offering.
If you have a plan in place, you stick with the plan. It down in writing. If I was going, get some, boy. So if you got a plan in place, in writing, what we can do with our software is, if an emergency comes up, guess what? We can say, okay, let's withdraw a chunk of money. Let's see what the tax implications are. Software is going to help us see that. And let's create a new scenario that if you pull this money out, how long will your money last? Based on very modest rates of return. Now, rates of return don't go like this in a straight line. They go like this. Yeah. But let's see how that looks, right? And let's see if you can keep your income plan together in one piece and rest easy, take those trips, Viking cruises, or whatever you want to do, right? And Machu Picchu, whatever you want to do. Yeah. And you can maintain a balanced portfolio that can outpace inflation. Look, here's the money over here in stocks to grow beyond inflation over time, because there will be ups and downs, right? The ups and downs. And then here's the money over here that's separated, this money growing for income, and you can count on it. Month in and month out, year in and year out. So you got to separate the assets for income right over here from the assets for growth. And we don't want those two to meet. So when you keep your money at your retirement plan, you can't say, hey, I just want to take from that money. I just want to sell off that. It's typically pro rata, right? Meaning you got to withdraw equally from everything. So you got half safe and half stock, and the stocks go down 20%. You just went down 10% even. It's an illustration, but that's not a good scenario. Separate. The money separate. It's like oil and water. They don't meet very well. Yeah. So
not usually.
Yeah. And create your own tax plan, Marcus. Goodness sakes. Get a tax plan in place. So you're the one, instead of dodging Congress and the changes they make, tax bullets that they're going to fire off at you in the future because the national deficit's so high, you could stand there and say, got this.
Yeah.
We created a plan together and we're bulletproof. We got bulletproof vest on. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, remember, Uncle Sam is going to look out for Uncle Sam, which is normal. That's not a bash on it, but it is the truth. The taxes are lined up for a reason in a certain way. So yeah, you want to make sure you take advantage of everything that you can and take control of things to your benefit. You mentioned Viking tours just a minute ago. You gave me a weird flashback to, you remember the Perillo Tours guide? Did you ever see?
Yeah. I do remember. He's an Italian American. I got to say that.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his line was, but he had those leisure suits on. He was like, come take the tour with us. I can't remember how it was.
I think Adam Sandler did a bit on that in Saturday Night Live. But yeah, I just had that weird flashback because now I'm thinking about everybody in retirement calling Mr. Perillo to set up tours to Italy. So
why not?
Do that.
Hey, you got a health tip for us?
Yeah. I had a couple other questions if you have some time.
Negative. We covered it already, babe.
All right, man. Then if we got through all that, I do. And this is just a reminder. This health tip is a reminder of the privilege we have for movement. And I'll tell you what got me thinking about this the other day, Charles. So my folks are older, right? You know this. They're both closing in on 90, which people keep reminding me what a blessing it is. And it is. It's a blessing to have your folks around that long. But one of the biggest things that I have, the challenge that I have for them right now, is I keep trying to get them to exercise more because they need to move. And my health tip is just reminding everybody, exercise and movement is a privilege. And my wife the other day sent me a video of this lady, 90 years old, and she's doing deadlifts. She's doing deadlifts, Chuck, probably enough to make most men sweat. And this is a little lady in her 90s. She's doing deadlifts. And I thought, what a fantastic thing. Well, I assumed she'd been doing this all her life. She started like in her 80s, lifting weights, in her 80s. And I thought, man, what a privilege that is to be in your 90s and be doing deadlifts, right? To be lifting weights, to be moving. And sometimes we need to remind ourselves movement and exercise is a privilege. There are people out there who don't, have use of their legs, and they work their upper bodies, and they're in great shape because they appreciate that fact. It's a privilege. So if you're wallowing, if you're struggling with maybe getting back into a good workout routine, if you just, sometimes you're not always motivated, just remember that movement, exercise, that is a privilege. Take advantage of it every day if you can.
I'm glad you said that, because I've said that to Isaac even, because, our oldest, he's special needs, but, we've been exposed to all kinds of folks with brain injury, and some of them, their limbs are not functional, right? Yeah. And they can't walk. They certainly can't run. We've had friends that have gotten ALS, and it's degenerative. And we've got, let's rejoice for the things we have. Instead of focusing on the things we don't have, let's go ahead and be joyful about the things we have, because there's a lot around us. We have plenty. So many of us, most of us. Let's focus on that. I like it, Marcus. Thank you. Thank
Absolutely.
you for the inspiration.
Absolutely. And we talk about, CD Financial, health meets wealth. That is so much truth in that. It's not just a saying. We want everybody to not just have a good retirement financially, but physically as well, man. Take advantage of it. And I'll bet, I don't know that lady, that 90-year-old lady, but I'll bet she wishes she'd have started in her 70s when she was young, right? But at least she's doing it now in her 90s. And
never believe it. Yeah. All right. So folks, listen, don't forget, you don't need to work longer. You just need a better plan. Yeah. Reach out to us. We're here for you. There's a whole library of invaluable podcasts, and even a little 3-minute, 3 mots, we call them, videos that could really help you and give you a lot of information. And reach out to us if you want to. You get a free 15-minute phone call.
Yep, 949-359-5100, 949-359-5100 is that number if you want to reach out to us. Get someone on your side that's going to help you put together a good plan so that you can have a successful retirement. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in again. CD Financial, where health meets wealth. This is a CD Financial podcast. Chuck, we appreciate your time. We look forward to seeing all of you next time.
We sure do. Nice job, Marcus. We'll talk to you soon.